Alexander Ramsay Jr. is traveling back to New York after spending 2 months in India with his uncle Ralph. As they prepare to leave the port, he sees four men attempting to lead a wild black stallion towards the gangplank on the ship. After a long struggle, they lead him to a stall, but it hates content and every night it will be heard by passengers kicking and trying to flee. As the ship was sailing to Arabia and North Africa en route to England, suddenly there was a storm, a wild, violent storm rocking the ship, so Alec put on his life belt and went to the deck. The ship seems to have survived the storm, but unexpectedly a lightning struck the hull, causing its engine to die. Drake seemed to be cut in half and sinking, so Captain Watson put the passengers on a lifeboat, but a big wave turned and disappeared into the ocean. Alex saw the black horse free in his stall and started swimming, so he grabbed the rope hanging from his halter, and the black pulled him until they reached an island and realized that he and only the black survived drowning off the ship.
Alec follows the black to a small spring water pool and drinks thirstily. He finds a berry bush and eats hungrily. Then he turns his attention to building a shelter for himself. The rest of the day is devoted to trying to catch fish with no success. He continues to try day after day but catches only one or two. He remembers how to start a fire, cooks the fish, and tries to come up with a plan for alternative foodstuffs. He hits upon an edible moss called carrageen, which both he and the black are able to eat. The black seems to trust Alec, and their friendship grows. Alec is determined to ride a horse and one night throws himself onto the stallion's back. But the stallion tears and Alec is thrown off. He continues to try until the horse begins to race down the beach, jumping a gully and ending up on the sand again.
Alex fires is caught by the winds and ends up burning his shelter down, but this turned out to be a positive thing as a passing ship sees the flames and Alex finds himself explaining his odyssey to the sailor. He refuses to leave the island without Black. Alex, exhausted and injured, and spent a few days in bed, cheered by a wire from his parents who have been contacted by the sailors. When they arrive in New York, there is fanfare and scores of people which frightens the black. To avoid overstimulating him, they blindfold him, which seems to help. Alex's parents are delighted to see him, although his mother is a little scared of the stellium. They are approached by a young reporter who wants to interview Alex as he is the only survivor of the shipwreck off the coast of Portugal. Joey Rusu procures a van for them to drive the black home and in exchange for an interview. As they near home is flushing, they came to the daily home. They have stable that they do not use to Alex begs Mr. Daly let him use the empty stall for the black exchange for him doing it up. Mr. Daly explained that there is already a horse in the barn, but if the two get along then the black can stay. Alex concerned, but the black loves and Napoleon's immediately and he's greatly calmed by him. Henry Daly is very impressed by the black. Henry used to be championship jockey and really knows horses. He wants Alex to race the black in the future, but try as they might, they cannot find any paperwork or lineage for him, which means he cannot participate in any race. underestimate, they began to train him anyway under cover of darkness at the racetrack. He is lightning fast. One night, they had Alex ride him for a time trial and find him to be much faster than the two quickness champion of the day. Run Rider is the West Coast champion and Cyclone the East, but the two had never raced each other, much to the disappointment of the public who are captivated by their rivalry.
Famed sports writer Jim Neville challenged both owners to race the horses against each other in the middle, and the race is set up for June 26. Joe Russo arrives one day to follow up on their story until Alec tells him about the black speed and the fact they cannot enter him a race. Acquainted with Jim Neville, Joey decided to invite the writer to watch another speed trial. Jim is fascinated, especially when he realizes that Henry is the same Henry Daly who rode Chang to victory all those years ago. He is astounded by the black speed and decides to try to add him to the big showdown in Chicago. Since it is not an official championship race, his lack of papers and history won't matter. He begins to write cryptically about him in his column, building up the mystery horse who is faster than both Cyclone and Sun Raider. The owners succeed to having the mystery horse added to the ticket. Alec is off to Chicago to ride him in the race. Although his father is not traveling with him, he surprises Alec by flying Chicago to watch him. Coincidentally, his mother is also in attendance. Although she is unaware of her son's role in the big event, she is visiting her sister who has both tickets to the event of the year for them both.
The black has a new racing blanket with his name embroidered onto it, and Alec wears Henry's old jockey colors. Sun Raider and the black immediately dislike each other, and Sun Raider kicks at the black as they begin. It looks like Alec and Black are out of it before they start, but the black starts to run and they start to claw back the ground between them and the other two horses. Sunrider takes the lead as Cyclone drops back with only 100 yards to go. The black pulls alongside with Sun Raider and speeds towards the finish line. His leg is bleeding badly, and the veterinarian takes a look at it before Alec and the black go to the winner's circle. The governor of the state gives him the trophy that symbolizes his supremacy on the track, and then Alec learns that they have broken the world record. Alec leads the black back through the crowd with Napoleon at his side before giving him victory oaths.